All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 705 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And we're going to jump over to the Atlanta Falcons. I really wanted to talk about Georgia Southern today as they go play Old Dominion because that seems like that's going to be the, cool thing to talk about now since they have the most upside as far as turning their season around. But no, I'm going to talk about Desmond Ridder. And if you've been watching the show, you kind of know how I feel about him. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. I just don't think he's going to be one of those top echelon quarterbacks that we are used to having. We had Matt Ryan for 13, 14 years, and Matt Ryan was pretty much the top 5, arguably top, 4, top 3 quarterback, pretty much at least half of those years. We're kind of spoiled because now with our quarterback situation, we wish we had a quarterback like that right now. You know what I mean? And if anybody's, denying that, they're lying, because as much as people talk bad about Matt Ryan, they wish they had him right now. They really do. But nevertheless, we're going to talk about Desmond Ridder because we're going to be riding with him for the foreseeable future. I don't see Taylor Heinicke coming back into the lineup. He hurt his hamstring, and you saw what Desmond Ridder did against the Arizona Cardinals. He did not look bad. And it just goes to show you that there are some bright spots with Desmond Ridder. But nevertheless, regardless of what I think, for the foreseeable future, for the rest of the season, more likely, we're riding with Ridder. So we're going to talk about that. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Also, you can follow me on X at VF Baller. The website is firstandframerates.com. If you want to donate or support the show, either way, CashApp and the PayPal links are down below. I really would appreciate it. It helps the channel grow, and it helps get better equipment in here to do the show. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now, there's no secret. I already said that we need to go ahead and get a QB for next year, and I still stand by that. Even if that, Desmond Ridder does well, we're going to need a quarterback. And I think it may be one of the main priorities. I know some other people said that I've been talking to, we may need an offensive lineman. And now I'm just talking about personnel on the field because I know a lot of people want to get rid of Coach Arthur Smith. And I'm one of them. But as far as some people say offensive lineman, and I can agree with that. But at some point, we're going to have to, more likely, we may draft another quarterback. But in the meantime, we're going to be riding with Ridder. Can Ridder sustain, some good play for him to continue to be QB1? What is that going to be? I mean, I don't know, because I'm already checked out to the point where I don't mind that Bo Nix will be the quarterback. We go ahead and move up the draft Bo Nix. We move up to get Michael Penix or Drake May. I know those are the 3 names that have actually been circling around for the Falcons. I'm not against either of those 3. But I just don't see Desmond Ridder as a QB1. And that's okay. But I do feel like he does have room to be that person. I don't have a problem with being proven wrong. I don't have a problem with, him, shutting me up. And it would be nice because you're going to have a good quarterback at a low price. So for the next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, got 7. You got next 7 games. He's going to be out there on the field. I mean, I know Logan Woodside. I think he was a healthy scratch. He's probably going to be the backup for right now until Heinicke gets better. But there are some bright spots of having Desmond Ridder on the field. I think Desmond Ridder could be a very serviceable quarterback. He can help us win some games. He has helped us win some games. If he cleans up the turnovers, he'll look much, much better as far as what's going on with the team. And we could probably spark some wins, because that's the important part of this, right? That's the important part. I mean, you want us to win some games, right, Falcon fans? I mean, a lot of people are sitting here thinking that it'd be cool to go ahead and not win, not make the playoffs, not, get a good draft pick. A lot of people feel like it's either Super Bowl or bust. Well, it doesn't work like that. The main thing is about the NFL, once you get in the playoffs, all bets are off. And do I want the Falcons to go to the playoffs? Absolutely. I would love for them to get a winning record and go into the playoffs and have a fighting chance of going to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the name of the game. It doesn't matter if you're a 6th seed. It doesn't matter if you're an 8th seed. Well, I think it's only 6th seed. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if you're a 6th seed or you're the 1st seed. It doesn't matter. You got teams that'll make it. All you got to do is get in, and all bets are off. You just never know what may happen. But is the sky is that ladder too high for the Falcons to climb? I don't know. But all I know is like right now, Ridder is going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy that runs his team at quarterback for the foreseeable future. And it's not all negative. I know that the turnovers are a problem. I know that, some of the decision making that Desmond Ridder had is a problem. The offensive line hasn't helped them that much in the passing game. The play calling hasn't helped either. But as far as Ridder's development or him being a good quarterback, I mean, it's a high possibility. I mean, like I said, I think he's going to be an above average quarterback. Can he get above that and be a good to great to elite? Yeah, it's possible. I'm not going to sit here and just say, oh, this guy's going to be trash. I haven't seen anything on his resume so far to say that he's going to be an absolute bust. I don't see that. I mean, you don't call third rounders a bust, but you know what I mean. I don't see anything of his body of work to say that he's not going to be a NFL quarterback. I mean, I really believe that he's going to be in the league for a long time, and he showed a lot of guts in the Arizona game. I mean, you got to understand he gave us a game-winning drive. Basically, it was just on the defense to go ahead and stop Kyler Murray and company. But we know how that story went. But you can't really get on to him and say that Desmond Ridder was the issue. He came in and he played pretty well. I gotta give it to him. What does this do? Like, I think you're just going to continue to see more maturity, some more maturation. You're going to see some more progression. I don't think he's going to backslide or get worse. I mean, yeah, the turnovers were absolutely horrible, but we all can agree to an extent that Coach Arthur Smith basically, pretty much damn near sabotaged this kid. I mean, what they did these first, 7, 8 games to him was not cool. You kind of set him up to fail with some of the play calling. You kind of, hung him out to dry by throwing a whole bunch of times. You didn't give him easy lanes to throw to by setting up the run so he can pass. You had him throwing 30 plus times, and I know I'm defending him right now, and I don't have a problem doing that because I try to be as fair as possible. But when you're doing those type of things to a young quarterback, whether it be as his first or second year, it doesn't help matters. It just doesn't. And I mean, even with a veteran like Taylor Heineke, I mean, I'm not saying that he's, exponentially better as far as talent or whatever the case may be. You just don't want to throw a quarterback of that caliber in a situation where you have to throw that many times. I think you get him to throw between 20 and 25 times, you should be able to set up the pass enough so he can get at least 200 to 250 yards a game. And I said this on the last episode. I said this in many episodes. If you get 200 yards passing with this type of team and the run game that we have, we're unbeatable. You're not going to beat this team if this team can throw for 200 plus and run for another 140 plus. It's just not going to happen. You can easily get 140 yards rushing with this team. And we got 3 good running backs. Even Desmond Ridder could use his feet a little bit. You're going to get those yards. But you're going to need some balance. Last game we threw for 70 yards. You're not going to win a game like that. You're just not. If we was able to throw the ball more, this game wouldn't even been as close as it was. So therefore, that's the recipe. And I think Desmond Ridder has the arm to give you clean, concise, short to intermediate passes, and you can get over the top every now and then to get to a Mac Hollins or a Scotty Miller or any of these guys who are deep threats. I mean, even Drake London, Kyle Pitts had a deep pass earlier this year. You can get those, but that's just not your identity to be, an air raid, Brett Favre, type of offense where you're just throwing the ball around all over the place. You're going to have some balance, and that only helps Desmond Ridder. Now, before I get out of here, what does this all mean? Does this mean that this is a situation where Ridder can flourish and be QB1? I think he can. I just don't think that I don't want to sell the guy short, and I don't want to say this in a bad way, but I just don't think it'll happen. I think Desmond Ridder will be a pretty solid quarterback, and at the end of the day, I mean, I think he'll be anywhere where you can play games with him, and if you get the team around him, he will flourish. But he's not going to be one of these guys that can, you go out there and get a couple of receivers, and he's going to be okay. No, he's going to have the pass catchers like we got now, the Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith, even Mac Hollins, Scotty Miller. You also have Bijan Robinson that can catch on the back. Even Cordell Patterson can. See, you're gonna need about 4 good pass catchers for Desmond Ridder to look like a top tier quarterback. I don't think he's gonna be one of those guys where, let's say, like Tua. Tua has 2 good receivers. He's good. I mean, you look at another guy like C.J. Stroud, who is his receivers. You know what I mean? Like when Derek Carr was there with Devontae Adams, or when you had, what's his name? Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers with Devontae. He's not going to be one of these guys that's going to strive with, a 1 or 2 receivers. And it's not a knock on him. It's just, I just don't see that type of ceiling with him where he's going to be able to flourish. He's going to have a lot of guys around him, and you get a lot of weapons around him. He should be fine, actually, looking like he's managing a game, but he can be able to improvise as well because he do have the skills. So, like I said, you're just going to constantly have to have weapons around him for him to be okay. Can you do that? What is the ceiling on that? What's going to happen there? So that's where I'm like, well, maybe, but if you get another guy who's like slightly more talented, like the guys who are coming out in the draft, you may have more leeway that you may, can have a quarterback that can throw guys open, or have a quarterback that can, be on page with a few guys or whatever the case may be. Like, and I know I'll keep dragging on, but like with Taylor Heineke, he got on page with Cordell Hodge like immediately. Like that was the thing. Like immediately he was like, him and Cordell Hodge was on page on eye to eye. They were on the same page immediately. Like we still haven't seen Desmond Ridder do that. That's why I say you need a lot of guys around him that are talented. And until he opens that, until he has that trait, then that's why I still feel the way I feel. So no, it's not a knock. We're riding with them. It's okay. I just want to see some progression throughout the week. I'm not sure if we're going to see it week by week, but this is what we got. So with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here. I'm still all for getting a quarterback next season, but it's not the end of the world because I think Ridder does have the potential to change my mind. He does. But honestly, I just don't see it. So if you like this commentary, the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. What are you guys thinking about this riding with Ridder? Do you think, we're going to be good in this position? Do you think we need to go ahead and get another quarterback? Do you think we need to beef up the offensive line to help him? Do you think that he's going to get better week by week? Or do you think we're just going to end up drafting another quarterback? Like I said, I'll say it once again, because I know some people probably didn't make it this far in the episode. I feel that Desmond Ridder is going to be fine, but I think there's better quarterbacks out there. He's going to be that guy that's going to be average, middle of the road to a little bit above that. And you're going to need a top tier quarterback to succeed in this league. I mean, there's just no other way around it. Unless you put a bunch of talent around him and he's able to manage the game or able to not make mistakes, then that's your guy. So, all right, I said enough. I probably talked too much. I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all take it easy. Y'all know where to find me. YouTube, Rumble, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Twitter is VF Baller at VF Baller, and the website's firstandframeraise.com. And if you want to donate, all the links are down in the description. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. Peace.